Hola, ¿qué tal? Saludos a todos, buenas tardes, bienvenidos al último de nuestros encuentros. El tiempo pasa rápido, ¿verdad? Parece que fue ayer cuando empezábamos este año los encuentros y ya estamos casi al final. Yo tengo la sensación de haber hecho un viaje de 8 días en el que nos hemos ido encontrando con paisajes y con gentes diferentes y espero que, como en las buenas road movies, en las películas de carretera, ya no seamos los mismos que empezamos estos encuentros, que hayamos cambiado un poco y espero que a mejor. Hoy, para terminar, nos acompañan 3 películas, 3 equipos, como siempre, con propuestas muy diferentes. De Estados Unidos nos llega un nuevo director, Beautiful Boy. De España nos llega un documental sobre Norman Foster, ¿Cuánto pesa este edificio, señor Foster? Y desde China nos llega otro nuevo director con la película Single Man. Como siempre, vamos a recibirles a todos con un aplauso muy fuerte. Hello, welcome. Hello. Bueno, pues como decíamos, ahora mismo nuestra primera película de hoy es Beautiful Boy. Nos acompaña su director, Xiang Ku, y su productor, Li Clay. Una película que trata pues un tema estremecedor. Los protagonistas son los padres de un joven que ha perpetrado una matanza en un instituto. Estamos acostumbrados, tristemente, a escuchar este tipo de historias. Lo que yo no sé si esta en concreto está inspirada en algún hecho real. No. I said that we are used to that kind of stories. We know that kind of stories from the news programs, and I would like to know if it's based on a real story.
No, we. Of course, we all experience these things via the media and see them all the time, and they're just everywhere. And so we were trying to explore a story that was ignored, I think, but it's not. We tried to get in contact with parents, and it's just not. It's not very easy. They don't want to talk about those sorts of things.
La película, como decimos, tiene un acercamiento muy diferente, ¿no? Normalmente este tipo de historias, no sé si tenemos problema con la traducción, si estamos en el número correcto. Bueno, estamos acostumbrados a verlo desde el punto de vista de la víctima, incluso del asesino, pero en este momento ustedes han elegido el punto de vista del padre. You choose the point of view of the parents. Why?
I think we always, at least in the States, we always look to blame these people because the actual shooter's gone. Most often they commit suicide afterwards. So I think we're instantly looking for someone to blame, and it's usually the parents because these shooters are young, and we blame them because someone has to be responsible. So. But I don't think it's always that simple. I mean, children aren't always in the control of their parents, and parents are just trying to raise their children as best they can. So I guess it was just a side of a story that seems completely forgotten, because they are victims too, and we forget that.
Una historia dura, como decimos, pero también una historia que tiene unas interpretaciones asombrosas. Vamos a ver algún extracto de la película.
Are you Mrs. Carroll? I'm afraid we have some bad news.
Oh. He's dead.
Yes, ma'am.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Can we come in?
I knew.
Ma'am, I'm afraid there's more. At 7:15 this morning, your son, Sam, walked into a university building with 2 loaded weapons and opened fire on the students.
What?
Ma'am, I know this is difficult, but I have some questions I need to ask you.
Liar!
Uf, esto es una de las escenas más tremendas de la película, el momento en el que anuncian a los padres que su hijo ha perpetrado esa matanza y después se ha suicidado. Veíamos a los dos actores, a Maria Bello y a Michael Sheen, que son pues, dos auténticas estrellas, dos actores muy prestigiosos. ¿Cómo consiguieron, también es una pregunta para el productor, que se implicaran en esta película independiente, película de nuevo director?
It's difficult because at least in the studio system, it's difficult to get through agents and managers and all these people who are looking for paydays, obviously money for their clients, and we had to work very hard to get around all these guards. But once they actually got the scripts in their hand, once they were able to read the characters, it was very easy, and they were completely on board by then.
Desde el punto de vista de la producción, ¿fue sencillo?
It actually was a very smooth production once we kind of got into the phase of shooting. I think we had kind of the typical ups and downs of indie films and hit some roadblocks along the way where money comes in and the movie's going to go and then money goes away and then you have to replace it and then so we definitely had those traditional independent film struggles. But really I think once we hit our stride and got into principal photography, Sean was so well planned. He spent several months planning every shot and every scene with the DP. Michael and Maria are consummate professionals. So the shooting we shot in 18 days and it was really pretty smooth sailing.
Me da la sensación que desde el punto de vista de la dirección lo que ha intentado es dejar mucho espacio a los actores para que puedan interpretar, ¿no? El hecho de que usted ha sido también antes actor le ha facilitado el trabajo tan complejo que me imagino que ha tenido que ser el trabajo con estos actores.
In terms of rehearsal, we rehearsed just a few weeks, but we didn't ever get up and practice. It was mostly discussions and just getting to know them and talking about how they feel about these topics, how they feel about relationships, how they feel about raising children, in terms of themselves as people, and then in terms of how we think of the characters in those same terms. Talking about the relationships beforehand, what was it like when the two characters fell in love, and then what happened to the relationship since. So it was very in-depth conversations about these things, sort of filling in the life, and then by the time we got to set, it was in a sense very free because they by then already knew the characters and knew them probably better than I did. So a lot of times, we're even working with the cinematographer, we shot it as if it were a documentary, as if it was just going to happen once, and we would never get it again, just so they could, whatever happens, happens,
En este sentido hay una escena que me llama muchísimo la atención, que es la escena de la discusión, que dura más de 4 minutos, creo que sin ningún corte, y que los actores se vacían. Hicieron varias tomas de esa escena porque me da la sensación que es irrepetible, ¿no? Que es una escena que puede ocurrir una vez y que probablemente no pueda ocurrir de esa misma forma otra.
It was one day. We spent the whole day on it, and I know, like the producers were worried because the first half of the day we didn't shoot anything. It was all just preparation for this, and worried that the day's going to end and we won't have shot anything. But we saved it towards the end, and it's meant to be sort of cathartic, all these things they're holding inside, and they let it all out, the accusations towards each other, and I think the subtext is the accusations they have for themselves. But we would just find it structurally, in terms of blocking and hold the emotion, because I think a lot of that needs to be surprised because it's a very emotional scene. It's a scene that sometimes I watch and I can still get choked up doing it.
El título de la película, Beautiful Boy, proviene de la canción de John Lennon. ¿Por qué?
It is a song, and we had discussed using it, John Lennon's song. But yeah, I mean, thematically, it's about these parents who are holding on to the idea of their son that's still that's still their little boy that still that didn't do this terrible thing.
Cambiando un poco de tema, él, además de director de esta película, ha sido coreógrafo en Broadway. Yo no sé si alguna vez como director le apetece hacer un musical.
I was a performer and have done some stage work, and I definitely enjoy lighter
me gustan mucho las historias de Broadway. Esta es la primera película en la que he trabajado para el cine realmente. Y la verdad es que sí que me ha parecido divertido también trabajar en el cine. Me gusta todo lo que es divertido. Y si encima